Inbounds 53.
Useful start though, Dave. Had the look of a man who's played a lot of competitive snooker in the last few days.
Yeah, absolutely. And got a nice little lead early on. Just as you say, got a chance to get his hand on the table. Tough match this. Obviously, Ricky Walden's had a good couple of years. Good to see Ricky back in some sort of form after, of course, his health problems. He's a twice UK Championship semi-finalist, Ricky Walden, 2011 and 2013.
This is a massive match for Walden in so many ways, and I'll give you one specific example. I reckon if he wins this contest, he will be, of course, guaranteed at least 7,500 ranking points, and that should be enough to be in the World Grand Prix in January, because he has qualified for both the English Open and the Scottish Open.
For those of you just joining us on YouTube, apologies, we weren't quite here for the start. A few gremlins, but you're with us now, hopefully, and we'll be for the rest of the evening. And remember, tomorrow, we've got the two Judgment Day programmes, 1 o'clock and 7 UK time, same on Thursday. And the final round of qualifying to get to the Barbican.
One.
What a lovely shot. And when you pot a red of that quality, it's as though you deserve a kiss. And the kiss on the black was simply perfect. Not just knocking it on, but knocking it on at the right angle.
Eight. Nine.
Because of the slightly late start of our broadcast on YouTube,
16.
just in case David Barton didn't hear, he was the winner of our competition this afternoon. So congratulations to you.
17.
Now you saw that he caught that black incorrectly,
24.
Too thick, and he also dug into the cue ball slightly. But he's still on this red to middle.
$25.
You know, I always think, Dave, that when we talk about the really quick players in the game, most of them have got some kind of nickname that tells you they're speedy around the table. Not so Ricky Walden, but when he's in the balls, he's as quick as anyone.
32.
Yeah, he's pretty formidable, actually. He's sort of tall frame as well. When he's playing well, he's pretty intimidating, actually. Ah, well, that won't intimidate Ian Burns.
32.
Yeah, saw the angle on the red to remove the awkward one, and he was so invested in that, the pot was neglected.
One.
And when he came to the table, Burns, he was 20 in front. That is important, because if he pots black, red, black, he'll be 36 ahead with 35 on.
Eight. 9.
Yeah, so one snooker needed. But, of course, Ricky Walden absolutely will
16.
do his best to get it with this red. So, Ian Burns, well, he could try and pot it, of course, or he could try and get Walden in trouble. I don't think lagging it over the pocket is the answer here, because Walden could pot it, get the snooker on the colours. So, not really giving any sort of chance there. It seems the sensible shot, really. Not sure he's quite got the snooker, though.
Burns won't make the mistake of thinking it's mission accomplished. The ball's quite amenable for laying snookers. When you need a snooker yourself, that wasn't the kind of situation you want to be in.
Ian Burns 4.
It's now 2 snookers required.
Yeah, I think the thing with this, and that's why I thought the first shot Ian Burns played was a good one. You want to be in control of the exchange, and Ian Burns has been. So he's a big favourite now, and if the red goes in, and even now, see now Ricky Walden doesn't really want to pot this, because with the free ball with the last red on, you know, that's an advantage. So Ricky Walden is on the back foot in this exchange. In fact, it seemed he might not be able to get through the potted anyway. But as I say, he's lost any kind of initiative. It's Ian Burns kind of bossing this exchange. Do get in contact, of course, tonight with either myself, at Dave Hendon on Twitter, at Dave Hendon. Stephen Hallworth will be later here with us, at Stephen Hallworth. It's at Stephen Hallworth, or by all means, of course, World Snooker Tour, at We Are WST, at We Are WST. We'll do our best to pick out your comments as the evening goes on. In our last night before we head into the final round of qualifying. One thing I will say here, there's a lot of balls to snooker behind in bulk, and Ian Burns did give Ricky Walden the chance, if this red runs, to get one red in the middle of the table. It's a little bit nasty. This is a little bit nasty. Yep, and he's gone past it, so that's one of them.
Ricky Walden 4.
And now with the yellow in close proximity to the pink, will Walden be tempted to pot red high value colour and then get the snooker off the yellow? You see here, if he pots red plus blue, 1 4-point penalty snooker would be enough. keeping it tight, or at least trying to.
Well, that ends that, Phil. In one stroke.
Now, when I get a text, I hate it when there's exclamation marks on it, but that was a snooker exclamation mark, wasn't it?
Well, he's looked good, hasn't he? He's looked sharp. He was getting on with it when he was in, made that 53. So Ian Burns looking to cause what would be a mini upset, I guess, tonight. Ricky Walden, of course, on the verge of the top 16.
6.
Highest ranked player involved in these qualifiers, so I guess it would be an upset if he lost, but anyone who knows and has watched Ian Burns over the years would say not a big shock.
Inbound 6 and the frame.
Yeah, there you go. Half-century break was the cornerstone of his success, and Ian Burns, who has beaten Ricky Walden before, leads 1-0. Yeah, their head-to-head is 1 each, so not a lot to go on. Interestingly, both of the meetings have been whitewashes. Burns beat Walden 4-0 in the last 64 of a PTC event in Gloucester in 2012. Not exactly high profile, but there you go. Walden beat Burns, also 4-0, last 64 of the 2015 Gibraltar Open.
Snooker, of course, is played all around the world. We've got viewers all around the world, and we've recently had the Pan American Championship in Toronto, and that was won by Ahmed Ali Al Sayed of America, and he's going to be an American representative on the World Snooker Tour. First for a while. We've had a question here from Gordon. He says he's enjoying the coverage. Thank you, Gordon. With it being confirmed there'll be a US player on the main tour for the first time, not actually the first time, but for a long time, should there be a tournament in the USA and Canada to tap into a brand new market that's never had events before? Well, of course, they did used to have them in Canada, didn't they, many years ago? And as we all know, there's been a lot of great Canadian players, but it would be terrific, wouldn't it, to have Phil an event in America?
Best thing ever. Sign me up now. No, I was at the US Open pool the last 2 years in Atlantic City, and I was amazed by the amount of people who came up, pool enthusiasts, and wanted to talk snooker. The imprint of the Green Bay's game on these 12x6 tables in the USA has never been deeper. So yeah, take a tournament out there and see what can grow from it.
Just wait for Ian to play this shot. Terrific pot that is as well.
1.
Here's the thing, okay, you can't take a ranking event. It's too costly, it's too cumbersome. The ideal template is what we saw in Hong Kong recently. Take the top players with the new American champion and another North American, so the top 6, 2 local wildcards. We saw in Hong Kong the effect that had. That is how you grow the game. Obviously, the low-ranked players won't be happy they can't get in it, but that's how you grow the game with its prime assets, its top players. It worked in Hong Kong. Why shouldn't it work in New York? Why shouldn't it work in Tokyo or Melbourne or all these other big cities around the world? Easy for us to say, of course. We don't have to put the money up, but there is interest, as Phil says. And now they've got a player on tour. I think going back, Jim Rempe, well, he was on the tour years ago, but we're going back a long time.
Yeah, I saw his name this week. It was his 75th birthday, actually. Jim Rempe played. He played in the World Cup, I believe. Also, forgotten in the mists of time, on one occasion in the World Championship,
7.
Steve Miserak played. Miserak, one of the pool greats. He didn't play all that well in the snooker, but there you go.
Well, Ian Burns has started sharply. Of course, he hails from the northwest of England, a more traditional snooker hotspot, maybe. But the ready thumped in at the start of this frame. More evidence of the confidence he's got in his cueing this evening.
I'll repeat what I said before, as he's been rather unlucky there with the respotting of the blue. What I took from his first 2 matches, statistically, that shot time, 19 in 22 seconds, that shows to me he's confident.
We have another question here.
12.
There's no correct answer to this, but Stephen King asks, who's the best player not to have played at the Crucible? So, not to have qualified for the World Championship.
Joe Davis.
Well, it's not so much a trick question as a trick answer, because of course he didn't have the chance to. He'd retired long before the Crucible hosted the World Championship. I mean, for a while it was Mark Joyce, wasn't it? But he has subsequently played there. We'll get back to you there, Stephen, because people will have their own thoughts on that. But it's over 200 people have played there, so a lot of people have experienced that wonderful venue. Just 5 minutes walk. We went up for something to eat, didn't we, earlier, Phil? Walked past the old place. And we're commenting on the fact how strange it was to see no TV trucks, no branding, no sort of snooker going on around the edges. Just looking at the world ranking list here, and I reckon the highest ranked player currently not to have played there is Fang Zhengyi, of course the European Masters champion from last season. He's number 37 in the world. Pretty sure. Or Lu Ning, actually. He's 29. I don't think he's played there.
With regard to this match, Ricky Walden is far too experienced to panic after losing the opener in a best of 11, but he understands now that Burns could be a formidable hurdle. And Walden is the highest ranked player left in the qualifiers. The rankings going into the UK Championship, Anthony McGill was 17, Walden 18, but McGill already out. He lost his first match to Dwayne Jones, who performed terrifically.
Touching ball.
Yeah, and that's what can happen. You know, obviously everyone has their picks and their favourites, but all these players are capable of producing something. It's in there somewhere. They wouldn't be on the tour if that wasn't the case. It's just whether they can actually do it in this event. I do feel, without sort of harping on about the format changes, that the lower ranked players in general, the pressure's been taken off them with this format, because many of them have come in being guaranteed prize money with the tiered structure that they weren't in the flat draw. Flat draw, Ian Burns could have drawn a real top player in round one and gone home with nothing at all. As it is, he's got Ricky Walden under it a bit here tonight. Just caught the knuckle of the middle pocket there, Walden.
Yeah, those years ago when the flat draw was instituted, lots of lower ranked players were excited. I remember thinking at the time, be careful what you wish for.
I remember being at qualifiers and lower ranked players would say, get the top players down here, see how they got on. How they got on was they they won more matches than they lost because they're the best players. Ian Burns took this plant on. They were a little apart, weren't they, the two Reds?
Can give you one interesting scoreline. Andres Petrov from Estonia. He's 1-0 up on former World Championship semi-finalist Gary Wilson. When we were at the British Open recently in Milton Keynes, the Estonian ambassador to the UK turned up. Petrov didn't perform all that well that day, but it just shows the interest in his home country.
No, I mean, he's playing Mark Williams, the defending champion, one of the greats, but also to have the ambassador there did put a bit of pressure on, didn't it? Hopefully tonight he's just watching on Discovery Plus, where, of course, you can watch tables 1 to 4. And Andres Petrov is on table 4.
if you're watching this having been at work all day and you don't know the results from the afternoon, well, we showed you Ding Junhui against Tepchara Nu. He won that 6-2, did Ding, made a couple of centuries. At the time of that match finishing, only one other contest was over. Zach Surety had beaten Martin Gould 6-1. So the other results, Dave Gilbert overcame Lei Pei Fan 6-2. Mark King survived a decider against Ben Wollaston 6-5. Same story, Joe Perry over Yuan Sejun. And indeed, Graham Dott over David Lilly. Rob Milkins, the reigning Gibraltar Open champion, he beat Zhang Anda 6-3. He now plays Ding in the next round. And Jordan Brown defeated Si Xiaowei 6-4. Well, it was the worst possible reaction off the black in terms of leaving a red, but there's no positional future here, surely. Dave mentioned that Walden's tall just as well. Yeah, that was the best he could do, and it wasn't good enough.
Ricky Walden won.
So Walden yet to really hit his stride. It's only frame 2, of course, of a possible 11. Big match tomorrow afternoon, of course. The standout match is Stephen Maguire against Jimmy White. Jimmy with that... Sorry, he beat Stephen Maguire. Jimmy White against Dominic Dale. He beat Maguire last night, and Dominic we spoke to earlier on. He had a good win over Li Hang. So 2 veteran campaigners there. And one of them's going to be in York in the final stages. We'll have coverage on Judgment Day, vast coverage of that one and the other 3 matches as well. Rob Walker and Ken Doherty will be here alongside myself.
Yeah, it's a really high-profile match, that, and quite rightly so. Heartwarming story with White, who's now 60 years of age. That said, though, don't underestimate Dominic Dale. He loves the limelight. He'll relish that.
I think Dominic actually said something very interesting at the start and very honest at the start, as Ian Burns just fails to make contact there.
Ricky Walden 4.
He said, I think Jimmy would understand if I said I'd rather play him than Steve Maguire. And that's, you don't often hear that. But he also said how much he respects how well Jimmy's still playing, how much he respects him, and what a big deal it is to play him. He says, whenever I play Jimmy, win or lose, I always say at the end, it was an honour to play you. Of course, he has to put that to one side when the match is actually going on.
Yeah.
But he'll be quietly confident because he feels maybe he could have actually got a tougher match there. Slight adjustment made. Maybe a little bit too much, but no real damage done. Maybe just gives Walden an easier safety alternative. We said about players, seeing players and not knowing the score. I saw Fergal O'Brien once in the World Championship, so it's 2 sessions. And I just got here and he'd played his first session. As Ian Burns. Well, it's gone wrong, but not really finished great for Ricky Walden, has it? Yeah, I saw him just in the city centre, looking very downcast. I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything. He's obviously in big trouble. Got to the venue, 7-2 up. But the point is, he was still in the match mode. He was in that match mode all day, and you sort of have to respect that. You know, for him, the match wasn't over. I tell you what, though, I'd love to have seen his face if he had been 7-2 down.
And then conversely, you'd never tell with Mark Williams whether he was 9-0 up or 9-0 adrift. When he went out for his world final against Ken Doherty, final session, he was in the press room telling us a joke. And the gentleman came down to ask Mark to get ready to go into the arena. And he said, hold on a minute, I haven't told them the punchline yet. That's how relaxed he was. And it was genuine. Different attitudes, different people.
That was a nice shot. Caught that very thin, that red. Not really made elementary errors yet as he burns it. Okay, miss it as safety a moment ago, but it didn't cost him. Wow, well, he really went on the attack there, didn't he? But
Ian Burns 4.
you can see for yourselves it didn't work. I think the in-off is not the worst thing here, you know. At least the white has gone back down to bulk. It could have finished anywhere amongst the reds.
Yeah, the loss of only 4 points is inconsequential. That was a break. A lucky break. Now, the table was looking rather awkward at one point. It's opening up appreciably. Well, he did not play the red over the pocket. He did play the cue ball down there, but again, that was playing with fire. And now, what? What a conundrum for Ian Burns. How do you deal with this? I think the look, Dave, best described as quizzical.
Well, yeah, he's either got to somehow try and pot the red or at least cover it. I think they're the two options, really. But what route do you take here? He's looking at all sorts. It's not like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't phone a friend. So even if he's got Alan McManus's number on his phone, that's not allowed.
It is, though. Who wants to be a quarter of a millionaire? Because the first prize when everything culminates, a week on Sunday is £250,000 and the commensurate amount of ranking points. Not much use on that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire line asking the audience either.
No, and this is where, you know, we talk about shot times and all the rest of it. This is where, you know, you need to take time. Walden, because it's so close to the green, his options are limited here. He's going to have to play maybe some sort of Zorro escape sort of several times across. But it's all well covering that red. There's lots of other reds he could leave on. That's the problem. So where do you put the cue ball here? Let's have a look at what he's going to do.
Foul, no miss. Ricky Walden 4.
Well, looking at that, it might be the worst possible scenario because he might have left a big pocket, and if Walden can avoid the red on the top cushion, closest to the red he's going to pot, he could get on the black and be away. Clearly, there are complications.
One.
Well, with the use of extreme side, he could avoid that red. And now he's plumb.
Yeah, Ricky Walden really needing now to make the most of this chance.
Eight.
He's actually made a rare break in the UK Championship. He once made a 16 red clearance, so that was with a free ball at the start of it. Not higher than 147, but even so, not that many players can boast that in tournament play.
9.
Of course, in this event, Jamie Burnett did make a 148 in qualifying back in 2004. Walden 331 career centuries. He's 24th on that list overall, so he's certainly in the upper echelons of break builders.
14. 15.
It's hard these days not to get involved in rankings, and even if you don't yourself sort of look at the list, other people will be looking at it and it'll probably be communicated to you. He's actually tied with Anthony McGill on 17th position in terms of points. But there's a bit of a gap to 16th, isn't there? There's nearly 30,000 actually. Meanwhile, that's not the best shot ever.
22.
Took a cursory look at a possible plant. Red closest to the cue ball, onto the red, over the pocket, but that's too far-fetched. The cueing with the red isn't too hampered. But that had to be caught
Ricky Walden.
very thin. Should have made more than that.
And all that time he kept that red that had caused the problem initially as a kind of saver. And in the end, it's Ian Burns who pots it.
Eight. Nine. 15. $16.
The stroke was just a little quick there, and the red went in off the near jaw.
$23. 24.
Don't know about you, Dave, but I think Burns, when he's scoring, certainly, is playing a little quicker. Obviously, on the brain-teasing shots, he does take his time, but that's entirely understandable. During this contribution, he's definitely been a little swifter than I imagined in the past.
1.
Yeah, I mean, the average shot times, obviously, that's every shot played, and he took an age over that one, quite rightly, behind the green. At the moment, it's 27 seconds, but in the balls, it'll be definitely a lot quicker than that, as you say.
$32.
Had a real setback a few years ago. His practice room was flooded out. The elements rarely cause problems for snooker players, but they did for Burns on that occasion.
Well, he's just negotiated a potential bit of difficulty there to continue this break.
38.
23 to the good. So you'll need 3 reds here. So still some work to be done.
39.
Now he caught that too thick. It went in off the jaw. Had he potted that to the middle of the pocket, he would have possibly obtained position on the red, which he's now not on. If he takes this on, it really is a tester.
Inbounds 45.
Of course, always had safety in mind. Well, not for the first time. He knocks a red over a pocket. Over that specific pocket. This time, though, he doesn't get in behind the green.
One.
Played that in very relaxed fashion. Calmly rolling it in. The black takes him 38 ahead, so one more red required.
Eight. Nine.
Wonderful pot, that. And that's effectively won him the frame. You would think. You'd like a colour in here. If he pots a colour, then Walden needs a couple of snookers. At the moment, it's one to tie. The blue, and he'd be 44 to the good, 35 on. So 3 snookers. Ian Burns has started well here. He's playing some good stuff. He looks confident. He's had the 2 matches. Remember
14.
Ricky Walden coming in cold in his first match. And Ian Burns has every right to feel confident some of the balls he's potted. I remember at the World Qualifying last season, Ricky Walden had such a good season, several semi-finals, and a lot of people, myself included, tipped him to qualify. And he came into this round, so the penultimate qualifying round, against Alan Taylor and lost 6-4.
And frame.
Well, on this evidence, Walden could be in a spot of bother. I've been impressed by Burns so far. Breaks of 53 and 39. Nothing too outlandish, but he's been efficient. And he leads Ricky Walden by 2 frames to 0. Could Ian Burns bridge a gap of 64 places in the world rankings and advance at Walden's expense? Now, earlier I was saying that for Walden there are so many incentives to do well in this tournament, and indeed in this particular match. I think if he wins it, he will be in the first leg of the Player Series, the World Grand Prix. Now that returns to Cheltenham in mid-January. The Players' Championship, that goes to Wolverhampton in February, and then we have the Tour Championship at a brand new venue in Hull towards the end of the season. They really are wonderful events to attend. Both Dave and myself can attest to that. And tickets for all 3 are on sale now. Just go to wst.tv, tickets for details, and go and see some live snooker at 3 wonderful tournaments. Now let's get you up to date with the latest scores around this 8-table arena.
Okay.
Peter Lyons, who's done a lot of commentary with Dave and myself on the Championship League, he's 1-0 up on Ali Carter. Ashley Hugill is just about, I believe, to go 2-1 down against Liam Highfield. Hugill needs snookers in the 3rd frame. Ahmed Mir, he's taking on Matt Selt, who popped into the commentary box yesterday for a chat. That's 1-0 to Selt, the Turkish Masters runner-up last season. Anthony Hamilton and Marco Fu, bags of experience for both of those two. Fu has drawn first blood. 1-0 he leads. The all-Chinese match between Cao Yupeng and Zhao Gudong. That's 1-0 to Zhao. And a lot of people are interested to see how Andres Petrov does against Gary Wilson. Well, Petrov won the first frame. And he's won the second. In fine form. Walden isn't. One other score to tell you. Sam Craigie against Joe O'Connor. It's 1-0 to Craigie. And it looks as though it's going to be 2-0. He's on a break of 60. O'Connor already requires snookers. Now that was Ian Burns' worst shot of the entire match thus far. No wonder the head was bowed, Dave.
Yeah, he started positively, but of course you have to try and maintain that right the way through the match. And it's a long match, really. Best of 11 these days feels like quite a distance.
One.
Good and bad there. The good, the pot, and also the fact he does have the blue available. The negative aspect, he didn't want the pink to run safe.
Six. Okay, 7.
Now, I promised you that in the third frame I was going to give out the question for the competition, which is for 2 tickets to the 7 PM session at the Barbican next Thursday on November the 17th. And our final question over these 2 days is this. Who was the first player to compile a 147 in the UK Championship? You can give us the date if you want to as well, but the
13.
The question is, name the player. The first maximum man in this tournament.
$18.
David Hendon will give the answer, and who has won the prize towards the tail end of this match.
19.
I'll also tell people how to enter, because that's what people need to know as well.
I was going to do that, Dave. I really was. I was just waiting to see whether he was on a break or not, but you carry on.
Yeah, well, it would help. So on Twitter, you can send us your answers at WeAreWST. That's at WeAreWST. Or you can email the answers, kazoocompetition@wst.tv. kazoocompetition@wst.tv. Which player made the first maximum break in the UK Championship?
Ricky Walden, 19.
Ricky Walden was hoping not for a maximum there, but for something substantial. It didn't really come to much. He lost his way, breaks down on 19.
Now, you see, the reason Dave got worried there was understandable, actually, because I will fess up. On one occasion, I did forget to tell all of you lot how to enter the competition. Dave was into the commentary box very quickly to put me to rights. But I was going to say there, Dave, honestly.
Well, I leapt in nonetheless. Yeah, we had a lot of entries, and you know, it's a great prize actually, because by Thursday, you know, we're kind of deep into the tournament. It's actually the last day of the last 16. Just want to thank everybody actually for all the correspondence we've had and interaction we've had. This is a sort of a bit of an experiment, really, doing the commentary on the qualifying on YouTube and Facebook. So hopefully it will continue, but thank you for everyone who's engaged. Oh dear.
Well, Ricky Walden 4.
Well, maybe not huge damage done. Potential long one.
Yeah, not for the first time in this match. That in off sometimes is a blessing in disguise. Burns played a really good first couple of frames, but early in the third, he's starting to falter. Mind you, so is Walden, yet to get going. Mind you, should we be surprised with Walden's form? He's not gone deep in a tournament yet. This season, that is.
Oh dear. Well, that's rather opening the door, isn't it, to something. Walden already 23 in front.
One.
Just giving that question there for our final competition over the 2 days. In years to come, Ricky Walden will be the centrepiece of a really good trivia question when it comes to snooker. Something along the lines of, at what tournament was the final not the last match?
6.
Now you're scratching your head thinking, surely that's got to be the case. Well, not so. At the season
7.
launching Championship League, the ranking event, on the final day it was 2 groups of 4, and the 2 table toppers played each other in the overall final. Luca Bracel was crowned champion, of course. But one group was significantly faster than the other. So we had the final,
14.
we had the presentation, we did the interviews, we all said our goodbyes after 21 days up at the Morningside Arena in Leicester. And then I walked out of the arena, I could still hear balls clicking, and that was because the second group, as it were, which had produced Lu Ning to go into the final, was still being played. Ricky Walden was taking on Stuart Bingham for, I think, second and third place, and it meant a difference in rankings. And so, yeah, all of the silverware had been presented, and there they were, those 2 old war horses battling for a few ranking points.
Well, as one wag put it on Twitter, you know, because the Championship League, 5 weeks it takes up, not the whole 5 weeks, but 4 days at a time. Someone said it goes on so long, even when the final's finished, it's not over. But a couple of great pros there, Ricky and Stewart, you know, a grand here and there. They know in their positions, particularly Ricky knocking on the top door of the top 16, Stewart trying to stay in there. They're wise enough to know it makes a big difference, potentially.
It was quite restrictive for us because, of course, the champion, Luca Brissell, needed to be interviewed afterwards. The trophy needed to be presented, and the table they were playing on was right next to the one that Walden and Bingham were still battling away on. But we did the interviews with minimum distraction.
$23. Ricky Walden, 23.
He's not firing yet. Nowhere close. Okay, that wasn't easy. We know that with the cue ball close to the side cushion, but it's a ball you fully expect a flowing Ricky Walden to knock in.
One. Three. Four.
The match with real experience out on one of the outside tables. Anthony Hamilton against Marco Fu. Saw Marco yesterday against Oliver Lyons. I don't think it's breaking confidences, Phil, to say we saw him tucking into a pizza a couple of hours ago before the match. Nice to see him. Been away, of course, for a couple of years during the COVID time.
Yes, our tea time pizza experience was very nice, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, highlight of the day so far.
Now there you see an unusual bridge employed by a snooker player, the looped bridge. If it is going to be used, it's going to be used when a player's queuing off a cushion.
$17. 18. $25.
It will be difficult to clear up, but at least Burns is now back in the frame.
$26.
And Walden, given the scoreline and the way he's playing, has got genuine cause for concern.
$33. 34.
Wanted to be on the other side of the blue so he could get closer to the red near the cushion. Or maybe even dislodge the red, but he can't do that now.
Well, it seems a big moment in this match because 2-0, Ian Burns, good value for that lead. And 3-0, it's a bit of trouble, to say the least, for Ricky Walden. But if he can ultimately win this frame, then we're kind of back to being very close again. So this little exchange coming up is a key early one in this contest. Ian Burns looking to get the first good shot in. In the end, just a kind of containing shot.
Inbounds 39.
Well, that's worked. You saw Walden there after he'd played that shot, urging on the cue ball, trying to get it in behind the yellow, and that's where it ended up. Oh, that is cruel for Ian Burns. What a gift. And Dave with a 7-point lead. Walden well aware he doesn't need the only awkward ball on the table. The pink, he'll be safe by then.
Yeah. Fortune has smiled on him there, or rather it's not smiled on Ian Burns. Ricky Walden needing something to kickstart the evening. Oh, but, well, that's a worry, because that was a golden chance. He got the running, but he's missed that black. Not needing to do too much more to win the frame. A bit of concern. Okay, Burns will need the pink, but that's a worry for Walden, missing that one. To overcut the black.
Two. Inbounds 2.
Okay, so we're back to where we were really on the red. An important exchange now. Is this actually a snooker? We'd like to have been a bit tighter to the pink. It's one of these frames where if you didn't see the score graphic, you would think this is sort of 4 each. It's actually only 2-0, but it feels big in the wider context of the match.
Yes, sometimes you can be 2-0 down, having not had a sniff, but knowing that you're playing well and you've got the confidence to fight back. Walden isn't playing well. By his standards, the first 3 frames have been very poor. And there is another plus point for the outsider. Well, he hit those very hard indeed. And it's not worked out at all.
It's still about the pink. That's what it's looking likely to come down to here.
Thank you.
Well done. Now, the good thing for Burns, he doesn't need the black in addition, so he can just roll in the pink if he gets in behind it.
7. $12.
What a mammoth shot, Dave.
Biggest shot of the night so far is for 3-0.
Oh, he just overcut it.
Inbounds 12.
Walden breathes again. Walden 6 adrift, so he needs pink and black. That was almost a bad mistake. He'll just trickle this in, or at least try to.
$13 in the frame, Ricky Walden.
We're always on the lookout for potential turning points in these matches, and that had the look of a massive turning point. Ian Burns was on the threshold of a 3-0 lead, but the pink refused to drop. Walden, so grateful to knock in pink and black, get on the scoreboard and trail only 2-1.
Well, we were talking earlier about possibly taking snooker to America. Delighted to have received an email from Mike Dominguez from the Ox Billiards Club in Seattle. He said, thanks for recommending a US WST tour stop during the commentary. We here at Ox are doing all we can to promote the sport of snooker in America. We'd absolutely welcome a WST stop here in Seattle. People here love snooker and it's growing day by day. Well, that's great to hear, Mike, and we were well aware of your club. I know there was a women's event there, and I think Judd Trump has gone and done an exhibition there as well. So if we do make it to America, maybe that's the place.
And I can tell you from personal experience, the Pacific Northwest is one beautiful place to go. I'm actually going to be in Seattle very briefly the day after the Moscone Cup finishes. I'm flying back from Vegas via Seattle back home. I really would love to pop into the city and experience it. Yeah, Mike is doing a great job there. And snooker really is blossoming in the United States of America.
Frame 4, Ricky Walden to break.
I'll tell you, someone would love to play a tournament under the stars and stripes. This man, I believe he got married in New York City. He's run the New York Marathon. He's a regular in Vegas.
Well, yeah, he got married in New York. He also ran the marathon. I suspect the wedding was a slightly more joyous affair than having to slog round the streets. But anyway, the main thing here is he won that frame. Ian Burns rattled the pink, and we may well look back on that. It wasn't an easy shot, of course, but that was for 3-0. We may look back on that in due course as a really important moment. You sometimes see things you think are big turning points, and they're not. He could win 6-1 as he thunders in that red. And that's an indication, that shot, just how well he's been playing tonight. And no adverse reaction to losing that last frame, it would seem.
Ian Burns won.
But then he misses that.
Another well-known player, another multiple world ranking event winner, is also behind by 2 frames to 1. Ali Carter against Peter Lines.
There's the captain. Bit of a rocky takeoff so far.
Thank you. 1.
Tables 1 to 4, including Ali's match, live on Discovery Plus. Andres Petrov has just won a frame against Gary Wilson, 84 points to 82. So I'm guessing there's been a lot of fouls there. But that's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, fun and games guaranteed with a scoreline like that. And Petrov leads 3-0.
Well, it'd be something, wouldn't it? I mean, he's still got to win that match and another one, but if he qualified for York from round 1, that would be incredible in his first season.
Okay, on you go.
Also 3-0 up. Sam Craigie over Joe O'Connor. Craigie's made breaks of 64 and 58. I think won the opening frame on the black.
$11. 12.
The other 2 matches, both 1-1. Anthony Hamilton against Marco Fu. And Zhao Guodong against Cao Yupeng. Now that was a valiant attempt from Walden.
17.
We just come to nothing.
Yeah, he's not the sort of player really to back off. I think he's going to go on the attack, but sometimes you just need a bit of fortune. She didn't quite get there.
Ricky Walden, 17.
And, Dan Weston has contacted me, and this is quite a wide-ranging question. There would be a lot of answers anyway. So I'm really enjoying the commentary from yourself and Phil. Quick question for you both. Apologies if you've been asked already. What are your favourite and most memorable UK Championship matches? Well, we've got a lot to choose from, haven't we, from 1977. I think people always remember finals, obviously. But we saw earlier, actually, if you were with us this afternoon, well, I think it was this morning, actually, that semi-final between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby. That O'Sullivan won 9-8 with a maximum in the decider. That was an absolute epic. Of course, the rivalry between those two is always fascinating.
Foul.
It's not quite reached.
Ricky
One of the
Walden.
most memorable, Phil, was never televised, and it wasn't close. Marcus Campbell 9, Stephen Hendry 0, 1998.
19.
You know, back then, it was clearly 2 sessions. Thankfully for the journalists, one session
Okay.
was one day, and the second session was the next. So Hendry was 8-0 down overnight. He'd accepted his fate by the time he returned. And of course he lost the next frame. Came in for a grilling. I dread to think what mood he would have been in.
Foul.
And he come in immediately after the full horror of the match. Yeah, one of the most remarkable scorelines you'll ever see.
Now, more importantly, at the moment, if you can see a red full, He's going to be in trouble there, isn't he? Leo Scullion, the referee,
Yeah, you don't need to warn you for doing
there's
that.
the warning.
Lose a frame.
Got to hit a red. Otherwise, it's frame awarded to Walden. So he's surely got to play into the bunch in some way, just to make sure. It's very hard to play dead weight, isn't it, from there, to nestle into them. But that's what he's attempting. He's played it pretty well, actually. Yeah. Obviously had to make sure, and the danger there is you overhit it and just nudge a couple of reds out, but that didn't quite happen. Having said that, it looks like Walden, well, he's very close to it. The referee, you look at Leo Scully moving in there to look at the push shot potential.
And we've had a couple of push shot controversies already over the last couple of days. One that was called a push, which I believe wasn't. Another which was a push and it wasn't called.
Yeah, he feels that it would be a push, so playing back down to balk.
I think with some time for reflection, Dave, my favourite UK Championship memory would be Stephen Hendry beating Steve Davis 16-15 in that memorable final. It wasn't just any old final, that was the changing of the guard. It was the king of the 80s dethroned right at the start of the 90s by the king of the next decade.
Yeah, and without sort of another shameless plug for tomorrow, I do remember Jimmy White winning in 1992. What a big deal that was. It came in the middle of all his kind of world final defeats. But remember, the UK Championship then was a two-day final. It was a big showpiece occasion. He beat John Parrott, who'd beaten him the previous year in the final. That was a big moment. And Jimmy, I will get the plug in now. Of course, he's playing Dominic Dale tomorrow as part of our Judgment Day coverage. We start 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He's trying to qualify at the age of 60 for the final stages.
You're right, though, Dave. There have been so many great UK Championship moments. You ignore some momentous occasions. What about Ronnie O'Sullivan becoming the youngest ever ranking event winner in 1993, a week short of his 18th birthday? It is a record that remains intact.
Yeah, and the other end of the scale, Doug Mountjoy, of course, 88, winning for the second time at the age of 46 was very memorable moment in a sort of human sense. So many, and that's the thing about the established events, of course. Everyone will have their own moments, depending on your age and when you started watching snooker. That is all part of the fabric of the tournament, regardless of the changes in format. It's all been part of this UK Championship. pot.
1.
Just gives him control of the table.
Clean ball.
Just the roll up to the green. To, as I say,
Clean
be in
ball.
control here. And Walden, if he's going to go at the bunch here, got to be careful because there are reds that he could leave there if we would you just sort of nudge them out into play.
This is turning into a much more tough workout than perhaps he envisaged.
Foul and a miss. In bounds 4.
Now, if you're going to miss a shot like that, you always miss it by going a little narrow initially. The last thing you want to do is to go too wide and career into the reds. He's trying to flick off the right-hand side of that bunch and return the cue ball
In.
to baulk in an ideal world.
Foul and a miss. In bounds 4. Yeah.
Hard to tell, really. I think that was just marginally closer than the original effort.
Yeah. In. Thanks. Foul and a miss. In bounds 4.
It's clear, Dave, he needs to apply more side than he is.
Well, it just sort of sums up his evening so far. On the back foot, Ricky Walden. I know he won the last frame, but that was a bit of a scramble. His highest break's only 32.
Yeah. In. Thanks.
That's not going to cut it, I don't think, for the rest of the night. It's going to have to improve. But first things first, got to get out of this little spot. Of course, the
Wow, and a
3
miss.
miss rule doesn't apply when you're snookered.
In bounds 4.
Just all 3 points for Ian Burns. Leo Scullion, very experienced referee, in charge here.
Well, the good news for Walden, that was the best escape try so far. But you see there, he overcompensated, caught the reds too thick. It could have been worse, actually. Again, cue ball struggling to get back into the safety realms of baulk. Not much fluency here. Different though for Liam Highfield against Ashley Hugill. Highfield leads 3-1. He's made 3 half centuries. (3-0) for Matthew Selt over Hamed Mir. Now that was really nice, especially with the application of side.
Well, he must feel that he's played the better snooker so far. He's potted some good balls. And he's seen Walden just struggle here and there, so Ian Burns with a chance to plough on in frame 4 and get this interval lead. And I think 3-1 would be fair enough from what we've seen. Could argue should have been 4-0. I mean, he missed that tricky pink for a 3-0 lead.
There, though,
6.
lost control of the cue ball. He played for the red into top left. He might be going for the same red into left middle.
Inbound 6.
Well, it's a night for patience, clearly.
The frame opening up now. The next mistake, or indeed the next inspired pot, could lead to a sizable contribution. Walden's not put together much so far. The only half century of the entire contest. 53 from Ian Burns in the opening frame. The white's ideal. Has the red bounced off that cushion enough to make it potable to the middle bag? You might think because of its close vicinity the answer would be yes, but these middles are so tight. Oh, Walden's topped the white and the red's not gone in. What's more, he's left another.
Yeah, the harsh truth is Ricky Walden just hasn't played well enough so far tonight. Doesn't mean he won't win the match eventually, but so far he's struggling. Maybe he needs the interval just to collect his thoughts a bit.
One.
So how much can he make here? He's got several reds out in the open, but he's got a little edgy this fourth frame. I suppose it started really at the end of the last frame. He did start the night though looking confident, Ian Burns, and that positive attitude got him to 2-0, very nearly to 3-0. So I guess here we're talking about the pace of play. Doesn't want to get too bogged down looking at things. Try and just get on with it here, I think.
Nine.
The shots he has to play here are not that difficult, but it's what it all means, of course, that makes them missable and can invite mistakes. You've got to just try and, in as much as you can, just focus on the actual shots and not the fact that it means a 3-1 lead. Not easy.
His average shot time in the first 3 frames,
14.
over the first 3 frames, was 26.4 seconds. That's the slowest he's been in the championship so far. Admittedly, the
15.
exchanges have been largely disjointed.
$18. 19. $23. 24.
24.
So far, so good.
29. $30.
So he's going to need 2 more reds.
34.
This one and the one on the black spot.
35.
And that should be 3-1. And as I say, he's played pretty nicely overall.
Yeah, he's been the superior player, there's no doubt about that. Not pulled up any trees, but Walden so far, high caliber player who's not shown it.
No concern for him. The scoreline is one thing, but the performance is what will worry him. He may well go to the practice table. We'll see. But Ian Burns, barring snookers, he's going to go to the interval 3-1 up.
Yeah, as it stands, Walden needs 2 snookers, and he finds himself in one. And that is that.
Yeah, frame conceded. Frame.
Walden concedes, and so Ian Burns, the world number 82, leads the world number 18 by 3 frames to 1. It's interval time now. We haven't seen much fluency in the first 4 frames here, but in our next clip to fill the interval, well, it was the ultimate fluency from Neil Robertson in frame 6 of the 2015 UK Championship final.
Pressure on this type of shot, he's not going to be leaving anything. Expect him to pot it, it's almost straight. It's there.
1.
Straight as a die.
Eight.
He's nice and straight on this red. He can just come back down for the black, and the reds are very nicely positioned.
9.
Plenty of options for him before he has to start going in to develop reds.
This final, the best of 19, so first to 10 will pick up the trophy. There'll be 8 frames played in this first session, and the remaining 11, if
16.
needs, this evening.
It'll be interesting what choices he makes here. This is straightforward. Just going back to the amount of reds that are in open play, John. Obviously,
70.
the first concern is winning the frame, but it'll just be interesting to see which way will he try and stay on the black for as long as possible. Don't forget there is that big prize for a 147. I know it's early days, but just the position of the reds, just really nice. This will tell a story if he goes back for the black, which I'm sure he will.
24.
Yeah, I think once a player gets to 6 or 7
25.
reds and followed by blacks, then it does focus the mind on the maximum.
$32. $33. Yep.
Well, we said we'd get to a stage where it'll tell a story of what he's thinking. Can easily go up for the blue here, but I think his intention is to stay on the black. As I said, he's got 3 or 4 reds still in the open, and he can stay on the black, and it's a good opportunity. Priority, get the
41.
frame over and done with, but it's definitely in the back of his mind already.
£40,000 it's rolled up to
48.
from maximum, and £4,000 for the highest break, which, funny enough, he already holds on mildest break of 145.
$49.
But unless he plays a real poor positional shot, he'll only have eyes for the black after every red now.
Yeah, we see that red in the middle of the pack is open. I'd love to have been a little bit straighter on it.
56.
Just coming around to see if the 2 reds are a plant into the bottom left-hand corner pocket.
$57.
He's having another look at those 2. Can he make them into a plant? I don't think they're dead set into the middle of the pocket, no. But he may be able to make them.
It gave him a nice shot to play. He could look at the plant, and if he went a little bit too far, he could have been on the
64.
loose red just above him, but that's not an option now. But there is enough gap to make this. Problem is when they're too close together, you hit the one on the left-hand side, the second one goes to the right, but not in this case. Yes,
65.
nicely played.
Yep.
And brought a few more reds into play. So, as we said not long ago, he'll only have eyes for the black now, after reds. Oh, he's misjudged that.
72.
He's 76 points in front. There's 75 remaining. He'll want to play for the black.
Yeah, and all he can do is just drop it in, and but he won't be too far away from it as long as he doesn't get a big bounce off this cushion. It's nicely played. Nicely
73.
played. Yeah. The red to the right of the bunch of 5 pots, of course, so you can just pot the black. Could go into the reds, but I think he'll try and avoid them. Get up somewhere in the cue ball near the pink. It's there when it looks like he's on the red. It's perfect. Great shot.
80.
possibly just one more cannon on the 3 reds that are close together. If you can somehow have the pot in this red and black. One cannon, and we could be witnessing something very special. Wemba won't mind if he does, I'm sure. He'll be willing him on.
81.
Well, not the best angle on the black, so you have to play for the one loose red here. Just had the angle to come round of 2 cushions. I don't think he's in a position where he could pot this red and just cannon into those 3 reds. That would bring the 3 reds into play, but you're not certain to have position on the black. He's come
89.
nicely on the black. Now he just needs this cannon to go right, and if he can just open these reds and finish up on one where he can go on the black, the maximum, he's at his mercy.
Yeah, just a little glancing blow on the 2 reds close together. Well, he might be okay. A bit of a groan from the crowd, but he may be
96.
okay to be able to pot this into the middle. He's going to have to dig down on the cue ball. Get in there, get in there. What a great shot.
And purposely played for the red that was
104.
onto the middle. Now, oh, he had the perfect angle on it.
105.
And he looks to have the perfect angle on the black. It's now all about keeping your cue arm under control, because there's pressure and he'll be feeling it.
Perfect, and he has been an inch perfect. This has been a tremendous break.
112. 113.
Nicely on the black. Great shot. They're all there. Just 6 colours
120.
remaining. Crowd willing him on.
122.
You feel it's the only tricky little thing that can happen here. He needs good position from brown to blue with the pink not being on its spot. I've already been in this
125.
position once this week when tips chair on New against Neil Robertson. Got down to the black and missed it, so take nothing for granted.
129.
Well, he's just overrun that slightly.
Let him concentrate, thank you.
And being left-handed, a little screw back. He doesn't want to be playing this pink with the rest, if he can help it. Just needed to stop a fraction.
$134.
And Yang Wenbo there had a look to see whether he's straight enough. He'd like to be straight, but he's not. He's just off straight. Okay, deep breaths. Pink and black for £40,000. In it goes. He'd like to have been a little bit further away from the cushion than this, but we've already seen a black miss for a maximum once in this tournament.
Great sporting events make great stories. On Discovery Plus, watch Lycra Warriors battle.
It has been a blockbuster.
Hot shots fire.
The legend.
Sharpshooters strike.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is in seventh heaven.
And thrill seekers zoom. There's live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus.
Neil Robertson there with that wonderful maximum from the final in 2015. Of course, he is spared the agony of trying to qualify. He's, of course, in the top 4 in the world, so he's not here. But on Thursday, he'll find out who he's going to play in the final stages. We're watching tonight Ricky Walden and Ian Burns trying to get through to the final qualifying round. Ian Burns 3-1 up. The players will be back very shortly. And, well, it's a very, very tough match to call at the moment, because although Ian Burns is in front, Ricky Walden, we know, has many powers of recovery. Just to say, Phil asked the question earlier on, who was the first player to make a maximum in the UK Championship? The answer is the much-missed late Willie Thorne, 1987, missed a maximum, as he became known, what made the first 147. There's actually been 19. We thought we were going to get one this afternoon. Ding Junhui missed the yellow. There's been 19. The first was from Willie Thorne. The winner is Bradley Butcher. And Bradley's already been emailed by World Snooker Tour to tell him he's won, and he has responded, very happy, because he got 2 tickets next Thursday night to watch the last 16 in York. He says, I can't believe I won the competition. Willie Thorne indeed made the first 147. Thank you so much to you all. I was at the Champion of Champions final in Bolton as well, so getting tickets to the UK Championship has made my week, if not my year. Well, it's great to see that enthusiasm, Bradley. Hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you will. As you see, the players are back. Stephen Hallworth has rejoined us for the rest of this match.
Thank you.
I know you're watching upstairs, Stephen. I mean, Ricky doesn't need telling. He's got to have to try and find improvements, because he could have been 4-0 down. Ian Burns missed that tricky pink in the 3rd frame.
Yeah, you're right. He could have almost been down and out, Ricky, if it wasn't for that missed pink down the rail from Ian. So he's got somewhat of a reprieve, really. He's still only 2 behind in this game, but you're right, he does have to dig deep and find something here. He's not shown any sort of form so far in this match. And straight away misses a long red by some distance, and of course the red becomes available up the table for Ian, so first chance.
1.
Yeah, the last thing Walden wanted. You know, you hope the interval will change things. You get the 15 minutes to collect your thoughts, but suddenly it's like we haven't had an interval. Remember, he's coming in cold, having not played a match yet. This is his first match. Ian Burns has won 2 already, played well so far.
6. 7. 12.
'Played a nice little shot there off the black cushion through the gap of reds. Might play a little cannon to the pack if he can't afford just screwing straight up for the blue. Has done. Now where's that cue ball?
13.
He was very confident that was not going in, because he was on the walk ready for the blue. thought he started the match looking pretty confident, first couple of frames. Obviously then things got a bit bogged down. But he's every reason to be confident. He's not been really threatened too much. No scoring to speak of from Walden. His ice break's 32. Ian Burns made a 53 in the first frame.
$18. $19.
Just chasing position and slightly hurrying. He's not quite grabbed hold of the white yet. Again, not quite perfect
26.
on this red, so just needs to make sure he judges this cannon right.
27. $34. $35.
Nice little cannon there, holding the cue ball. There's a little bit of an acute angle on the blue there, but managed to hold the white. Nicely on this red now to hold for black.
41.
Ian Burns, the world number 82. So far this season, he's only won, prior to this tournament, a couple of matches. He got to the second round of the European Masters and the British Open. But this is a big money tournament. This is one you want to be doing well in, not just financially, but for the rankings as well. And he's starting to suggest that he can put himself in contention for a place in the final stages in York. Ricky Walden, someone sneezes rather loudly. Can't be helped. Ricky Walden started this frame exactly the opposite manner to what he wanted. He offered up a chance immediately. And you can see a bit of concern as he watches on.
Yeah, he might want to crack open that tin of Red Bull next to him, get him a little bit of energy. He's looking a little bit flat out there.
Yeah. 55. Okay. 56.
Not ideal on this black. Wanted to be 6 inches higher up the table, make it unmissable.
$63.
So this has been the dream start for Ian. straight after the interval, coming back out, continuing where he left off. 63 and counting the break goes to. And he's got options that are red. Just needs to steady himself now. This doesn't want to throw in a quick one and give Walden the chance for a counter attack.
No, this is the shot really. Should win in the frame. Played it
64.
very coolly. Pink to follow. Walden needs snookers. Ian Burns, who hails from Preston, which of course for many years, 2 decades, was the home venue, the Guildhall there in Preston of this UK Championship. So he grew up steeped in snooker history.
71.
Best performance though in this tournament, a last 32, 2019. That's the stage of course he's ultimately trying to reach at the weekend.
Big practicer Ian as well.
77.
We're friends on social media and often see him
78.
posting little practice routines and offering up advice for different exercises and trying to get people involved on socials to send in the scores of particular exercises and stuff. So obviously loves the game and he's brought his practice
84.
game to the match so far, particularly in this break. He's looking pretty good.
85.
Yeah, he's kept it going very well, and now there are danger signs for Walden because Burns hasn't scrapped his way to this frame. He's won it in one visit, and that can only do wonders for his own confidence. Looking to make his 4th century of the season here,
81.
as Walden contemplates being 4-1 down. Well, just the one red caught the other, so
91.
91, but that's a frame-winning break. And it puts Ian Burns in a very strong position now in this match. Just 2 away from causing what would be regarded certainly as an upset. Leading Ricky Walden by 4 frames to 1. And there's a couple of big names in trouble actually tonight. Ali Carter, 3-1 down to Peter Lyons. Gary Wilson, 3-1 down to Estonia's Andres Petrov. Marco Fu, of course, he's, I guess, the less fancied of the 2 against Anthony Hamilton, but Fu, of course, a fine player in his own right. We know why he's down the rankings. He hasn't played. It's 3-1 to Hamilton. There are some of the seeded players doing well. Liam Highfield 4-1 up. Sam Craigie 4-1 up. Jia Gudong 3-1 up. Matt Selt 4-0 up. But this match has got very interesting, I think. The manner in which Ian Burns won that last frame will concern Walden because he knows a couple more mistakes, he might be out.
Frame 6. Ricky Walden to break.
Ricky's the sort of player you just kind of expecting him to just click into gear at some point. He's not been at the races so far, but you just anticipate that he's not going to go the duration of this match playing as poorly as he has done so far. And Ian will be mindful of that, doesn't want to start taking any unnecessary risks. Yes, he's got a 4-1 lead in this game, but we can soon see that turned around.
Yeah, Walden needs to try and apply pressure, and I think for him that is upping the scoring and doing what Ian Burns has just done, which is winning frames in one visit. But you know, he can't just summon that up out of nowhere. Well, it's certainly opened things up. Yeah, we're back to the old sort of tiered system here. So the prize money in this round is 5,000, 7.5 for the final qualifying round, the Judgment Day round, guaranteed 10 at the Barbican, and then it goes up and up. And as I say, it can make a big difference to players lower down the ranking. One good run in this event really could make a difference.
Big deceleration from Ian there, didn't deliver the cue as quickly as he would have liked. So half a chance for Ricky, tough pot to middle. And again, an attempt at the red, extremely difficult pot. White was welded to that black cushion, but of course when it's not going your way, red's finished plumb over the pocket, and signs of frustration from Ricky.
One.
Was that one just wriggles in? Cue ball just held up for the black as well, so in the business end of the table now is Ian.
Well, he must be feeling good, and this is where he can really grasp the initiative. Walden is struggling, he's not. So, a serious chance for Ian Burns to press on, increase the lead, and ultimately get himself into that
8.
final round of qualifying, where he would play the winner, if he did get through, of the match between Sam Craigie and Joe O'Connor. It's 4-1 to Craigie.
Nine. $14. 15. 22. 23.
Just overrun that a fraction. Perfect position. Got a little bit of work to do now, holding the cue ball. Would love to get rid of that red just to the left of the black. Open up that area completely and avoid having to keep going up for blue. Pink out of commission, as we can see.
$28.
Yeah, the holding cannon just not quite working out for Ian. He's finished pretty awkward on this red, and it's a thin cut to middle. Again, it's one of them where he doesn't really want to take any risks. Play the percentage shot for me. He's got a good lead. So this is a big shot. The red's there.
29.
And he's nicely on the black. Well played.
Well, this is a serious chance with the black available, red's available to make it 5-1. And you have to say,
37.
that's not an unfair scoreline, the way the two of them have played. I mentioned Ricky Walden's defeat to Alan Taylor at the same stage of the World Championship. You know, it can be nervy for the seeded player coming in, having not had a match against someone who's played a couple already, with, of course, no ranking points going Walden's way. Tied 17th in the rankings. If he loses, no ranking points, so no chance then of getting in the Masters, which would have been some sort of ambition coming into this event. And of course, you're looking for points as well to shore up your place in the World Grand Prix, all of that.
I'm liking his approach to this game so far, Ian. He's remaining
52.
positive. He's playing the right shots and playing them positively. He had a red in the last frame on 66 or 67 into the yellow bag. He could have quite easily played that and screwed back for the black, but chose
53.
to play the positive shot, hold for the pink, was leaving everything. And we just see that red into middle where weighed up his options. He's obviously feeling good. Played the aggressive shot.
$60.
Got to tackle these matches head on. You'll have known Ricky's been playing some good stuff over the last couple of seasons. Take the match to him. He's done that so far.
Inbound 60.
Yeah, I didn't want to move that red too much, it's safe. So, a good 60-point lead, but there is still plenty on. It's Walden, though, under it here. 4-1 down, 60-0 down in a match he's not played well in yet. He won his only frame on the black that he could easily have lost on another day. It's in his interest, of course, to promote that red.
Doesn't really want to bring this red off the cushion, but might be forced into it here. He can't really see too much of anything else. He's got the pack, but you feel is going to be sending a red towards that left side of the table. Just having a look at those two reds together, could be close to a plant, but if it's not, they're definitely going near the pocket, so electing to play this red on the side cush.
Yeah, this is an absolutely critical stage of the match, isn't it? Ricky Walden trying to get back in, Ian Burns trying to slam the door, which 5-1 you feel would do. He's had a little look at this plant to the left corner.
I think from the angle the cue ball's coming in at, it could throw thinner, which is the angle needed, and it has done so.
1.
That's a good shot from Ricky. Ian came round to have a look at that, but decided against it and thought it was too much of a risk, but well, we'll see how this unfolds now. Reds are nicely spread, so a couple of good shots from Ricky required to just get his arm going again, find a bit of rhythm.
Five.
Nice little recovery red to middle. Perfect on the brown.
Nine.
And again, that cue ball just pulling up and leaving Ricky awkward cueing over the red. Still expect him to pot this, but it's a tiny bit more difficult than it probably should have been.
This is the sort of moment where matches can just completely turn, but Ricky Walden still got to do the job. A little awkward, as Stephen says here. But in it goes. Just got a little spring in his step, hasn't he, after he got that initial plant. Ian Burns was in with 60, but there's plenty still on. Sort of situation where if this was John Higgins, you know, you'd make him basically favourite to win the frame here. But Ricky Walden has missed that black and he's left the reds, and surely this is going to be frame over. Ian Burns not much more to do, and that black, in a way, that he's overcut sums up his evening. Just has not clicked at all for Ricky Walden. And you can see the disappointment.
1.
Yeah, he's absolutely struggling out there at the moment. You can see he's clearly going through the motions, which is not a nice place to be in, I can assure you. He's fighting with himself at the minute, probably trying too hard, which we all do at times, trying to force something, but it's just not clicked yet.
3.
Well, if this red goes in, then it should be guaranteed 5-1, already a snooker needed. Well, it's not in, so Walden's got to sort of pick himself up and play on, but Ian Burns still in a strong position. Would have liked that in, though, because, as I say, that would have been 5-1 guaranteed. As it is, there's just still that little bit of doubt.
1.
Obviously not helped by where pink and black are here. Needing big colours and looking at this blue. 52 behind, 47 with the blue. So it'd be 1 snooker to tie, but he needs a black really, a couple of blacks. Well, at least he potted the blue there.
Six. Ricky Walden 6.
Choosing to send the red onto the black and bring it into play, and got a nice cue ball. That's a clever little shot. It shouldn't be too difficult for Ian to hit these reds, but the black is open now. Just having a little look at the scores, just adding it up. Knows the position he's in. Colours are in a really good position actually. They favour Ricky at the moment, although he does need a snooker. He can pot red black here, and oh, he's just caught the jaw again, so there's the concession.
Oh dear, well it's not nice to see a player as talented as Ricky Walden struggle like this, but he has struggled badly, and Ian Burns, not his problem is it? He is 5-1 up, and he is a big favourite now to progress to Judgment Day with a chance to win that match and qualify for the final stages of this UK Snooker Championship. Judgment Day, just to point you in the direction, tomorrow and Thursday, it's 1 and 7. There's no morning play. 1 and 7. And we've got 4 tables, so you can follow all 4 on Discovery Plus. The Judgment Day coverage, though, with Rob Walker, myself and Ken Doherty, will be going around the tables. Obviously, in the afternoon, we'll be focusing mainly on Jimmy White against Dominic Dale. I know there's a lot of interest in that one, but we'll follow all 4 tables. We'll have interviews with the winners as they react to qualifying, and you can follow the drama with us on the World Snooker Tour YouTube and Facebook pages. And there, of course, are still tickets available to come and watch, so if you want to come down to Ponds Forge and follow the drama in person, tickets are £10, and you can check that out on the World Snooker Tour website, wst.tv. Click on tickets. Same applies for tickets for the final stages. A lot of sessions sold out, but there's still some still available. Again, wst.tv, click on tickets, and you can check the availability there. And hopefully you'll make it to the Barbican in York. If not, of course, you can follow all the action on Discovery Plus. But Ricky Walden, well, if he qualifies for York now, from here, it will take some turnaround. And we have seen this happen before. We have seen turnarounds, but his performance so far is the concern. I think any player can accept losing, but not getting close to playing your best. That is tough to take.
Inbounds to break.
Yeah, you're right, and we've touched on it earlier today. It's the performance that can frustrate the player a lot more than anything. You don't mind losing if you play well and your opponent plays out the skin, but when you have multiple chances and you just fail to just get any sort of rhythm going, it's a difficult one to take, very frustrating.
Yeah, there's a couple of big names in trouble, not just Ricky Walden, but In particular, Gary Wilson, who's now 4-1 down to Andrus Petrov from Estonia, new professional. Ali Carter, though, has fought back from 3-1 down with Peter Lyons to 3-3.
So catching the yellow means Ian's got a shot at this long red. Just come round, have a little look at the black. It is potable into the right corner pocket. There's maybe an option to just stun across. Again, an aggressive shot, but he's been feeling good.
One.
Well, he's got the pot, which was the main part. Didn't quite get the response on the cue ball he wanted to. He's cannon the black, and it is potable. It's awkward cueing over the red, but maybe worth a go. Never really threatened the pocket.
So that was chance number 1 to get going in the frame. He needs to win. Didn't come to much.
One. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
A couple of the players up in the players' lounge have been saying the pots along the cushions have been playing a little bit tight, and Ricky's going to have to play this with a touch of pace to come out for the black.
Nine.
Played that lovely. That's a great shot. Guaranteed to finish low on the black, so into the pack of reds. Plenty of zip on the cue ball. Try and draw a red back, and again, not really getting through the white as well as he would have liked. He's got a red to left middle. Yeah, nice shot.
Well, he's gone on the attack. You've got to do that, I suppose. Try and make something happen. The red along the rail was superb, wasn't it, considering what he's missed today. And just showing his body language, show Ian Burns that, look, I don't think I've lost yet. I'm going to go for this.
$24.
Blue and pink in an unfavourable position for Ricky. We'd love to finish 25 on the green to come off the side cushion. Either play down for the red or come straight into the pack of reds and just finished a bit straight to be able to do that.
Well, okay, he stuck to them, but as I say, that
Touching
little break, it's only 28, but just the way he made it, Maybe he's just changed the weather a little bit in this match, because he's showing Ian Burns he's going to go on the attack.
Again though, put a lot into that green and the white just seemed to trickle down into the pack. No real pace on it.
Walden 28.
Just shows he's not quite timing the ball as well as he would like. Not getting that zip on the cue ball. That was a perfectly weighted shot Ian's played there. Not really a lot Ricky can do here. No touching ball declared either, so couldn't have played that much better.
Well, this is one way to play it, isn't it? It's perfectly legal, but he didn't like it.
Leo Scullion didn't know where to put himself there. Yeah, it's not ideal because he can't really skim off the bottom of the pack and try and either on the black rail or he'll leave red, so yeah, that's about as good as he could have done really.
Main thing from Ian Burns' perspective is, you know, that could have been 5-2 there if Ricky Walden had been able to keep going. He's still in a very strong position here. So it's a case of Ricky's going to be out on the attack now, playing the aggressive safety shots, going for his pots, and Ian's probably going to be slightly more reserved. Doesn't want to gift an easy opportunity for Ricky. He wants to make him work for it if he's going to get back into this game.
Foul, no miss. Ricky Walden 4.
Leo Scullion, referee in charge here.
Yeah, Ricky, thanks.
Just a slight adjustment needed on Ian Burns' behalf. But
Foul, a miss.
not quite made.
Ricky Walden, 4.
Now then, can he see the red full ball?
Ricky? You need one.
He can. Yeah, so Leo Scullion just making Ian aware that he needs to make contact with the red on this stroke. Otherwise he'll forfeit the frame.
Yeah. We've been here before actually in this match, but it was an easier option last time because he did have the bunch he could roll into directly. Has to hit a red, otherwise it's 5-2. My word, it was thin, wasn't it? It was thin, but he hit it.
Edge of your seat stuff there, could have quite easily just drifted past that red and missed it. Maybe flicked the black.
Well, it's a chance missed, and that could be serious for Ricky Walden. I know he's 35 in front, but he set up a chance here for Burns to get back into the frame and potentially to win frame and match. Not been his night at all.
No, not one bit, and when he's been missing, they've just been finishing really nice for Ian. Just one of those days, unfortunately, where things just haven't rolled Ricky's way. Snooker gods well and truly not on his side this evening. But there's nothing Ian Burns can do about that. He's at the table with a chance to win the match now.
1.
So black potable into one corner pocket for the time being. He's nice on this red to come over for the black and possibly remove that red on his next shot.
Five. Yeah.
Tell you, there's been some drama in the Gary Wilson-Andres Petrov match because Petrov 3-1 went to double the pink and ended up trebling it for 4-1, and Gary Wilson just threw his cue on the floor. Not the cue's fault. Hopefully it's all right, but obviously very disappointed at that turn of events. Now Ian Burns will be experiencing opposite emotions. This is a big chance for
12.
a big day for him on Thursday in the final qualifying round as he attempts to make it to the Barbican.
15.
And it's the knowledge of that, of course, which puts pressure on. But he's got to just think how well he's played tonight. Breaks of 53, 91, 60 overall. Very good. Just got to keep it going for a few more minutes.
He has, yeah, he just needs to remain present, just focus on the task at hand,
20.
take one ball at a time, just mind his business, but Cannon could have worked out a little bit nicer for him. He's going to be queuing awkwardly over this red, and it is a bit of a cutback. Yeah, nicely played.
21.
There's your white. Yeah, it's not too bad. Pink available, green also. Maybe the blue. Just come around to have a look at the reds that are available for him. plenty on there, so full commitment to this pink. Oh, he's missed it.
Inbounds 21.
He's missed it. Threw a quick one in there.
Yeah, what a chance that was. Let's see how many more he gets in this frame.
One.
Maybe none at all. Sometimes think if you didn't tell the players what matches were best of, a lot of results in snooker would be very different. But the knowledge that that was a chance to land a big scalp maybe put undue pressure on. Oh my word, that black only just surrendered. This is still edgy.
8.
God, he's had a terrible contact there.
9.
Yeah, he's not happy one bit. You can clearly see. It never rains, it pours. There's been a couple of heavy contacts this afternoon, and yeah, he's had a shocker there. He is still on this black, but it's much more difficult than it should have been. You can play it in such a way that should he miss it, it'll be over the pocket, stopping the reds passing, but yeah, it's a good pot. Played it too well, in fact. Held the cue ball
16.
too much, and again another little test in red for Ricky.
$17. $20.
34 to the good. A couple more reds required here for 5-2. And Ian Burns had a very good chance for 6-1.
21.
Nothing looks very convincing at the moment for Ricky. He's battling hard out there, you can see. The way things have gone, you just feel a miss could be round the corner. So just this red needed, as you say. No heroics here. Wants to make absolute certain he gets another frame on the board and gives himself a chance.
But
Ricky Walden,
he does not
28.
pot frame ball. 42 in front, a possible 43 on. We have had a couple of winners, by the way. More comfortable times for Matt Selt, who beat Hamad Mir 6-1, and Liam Highfield, who beat Ashley Hugill 6-1. Ashley Hugill from York will not be at the Barbican. Well, not playing anyway.
Clever little shot from Ricky, really. Knew that he was going to leave Ian a chance at that red.
1.
making sure we got the other red safe. It'll be very difficult for him to manoeuvre that cue ball. To deploy the red off the cushion, so just choosing to make sure of the points.
8.
So you can see 34 points behind with still 35 on, so this frame is still alive, and that yellow is off the cushion now.
Well, it's the right result really, isn't it? The full ball snooker as well. So yeah, suddenly Walden not such a big favourite here. Got to get this red safe. Just playing up to it. Because he knows that Burns needs a black off it. So he might say, well, he could drop this in. That's no use to him. Can Walden knock it in himself? If he does, it's looking like 5-2 after all, but nothing guaranteed this evening. But there it is, so he'll be relieved. It's been a struggle, this frame, but
Conceded.
yeah, he's won it. There's the concession from Ian Burns. Burns did have a good chance, you have to say, earlier on, but it's Ricky Walden who extends the match. So Ian Burns now leads 5-2. Of course, all tables available tomorrow and Thursday on Discovery Plus. Live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus. You can watch the rest of the UK Championship, including the final there. Subscribers will also be able to watch top sporting events, including tennis Grand Slams, cycling Grand Tours, and a host of other sports, all live and on demand. Check out Discovery Plus for more information. It's getting a bit edgy this evening, I think, all around this arena. I've had a couple of quick-fire wins, but some of the other matches a little tight. Anthony Hamilton 3, Marco Fu 2. Sam Craigie 4-3 over Joe O'Connor. Ali Carter, Peter Line still 3 each. A few spectators here. I'm sure we'll see it through to the end. There'll be friends and family, of course, amongst them. Ricky Walden, of course, Lee Gorton, for those who follow the game will know he's always in his corner. And he made us suffer a bit tonight, but it's not over yet.
Thanks. Frame 8. Ricky Walden to break. One.
Another fabulous long red from Ian. Needs to really try hard to remain focused here. Doesn't want to keep missing opportunities to try and put this game to bed. The longer this game goes on for, obviously that pressure cooker's going to keep building and negative thoughts start creeping into your head, so needs to remain positive like he's done so far.
Yeah, sometimes easier said than done, but he has played well tonight.
Yep.
And Ricky Walden hasn't, and even in that last frame it was a bit of a struggle, so Ian Burns will feel he still very much has the upper hand here. Just try and again it's not easy, but just try and focus on what you're actually doing, not what it all means. Very tough to actually do when you're down there, particularly for Ian Burns, who's not had a good season. He's down at 82 in the world rankings, so you know the money, the points, all very valuable to him, with a chance still to progress to York.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh dear.
Foul. Burns 8, Ricky Walden 4.
Big misjudgment from Ian. Follow through on the cue ball, catching the other red and finding the middle pocket, so chance for Ricky to have a go at this red to left corner, find the gap between the pack and the black. Found the gap but didn't find the pot. Yeah, nicely done again. Choosing to play the right shot, holding for the black, so a couple of reds in open play.
Eight. 9. Sixteen. 17.
Developed a couple more reds as he builds a little lead here in this 8th frame, having had the chance to win 6-1. Just left this a little awkward. Made a difference, he's missed it.
Inbound 17.
Yeah, it's funny as the players get close to the winning line, things can become just that little bit more difficult. And we're seeing that with Ian at the moment. A couple of shots he's missed, but things have just been running awkward for him. So I wonder if Ricky will try and go into the pack here. He has, and that's a really good shot. He's got a good solid contact on that pack, and it wasn't easy to go into from that angle. Could not have played that any better.
Nine.
Hit the bottom red flush, full ball. Perfect cannon, and now the reds are really nicely situated for him.
Well, he's gone for the jugular, hasn't he? And it's a great chance this to pull another one back, and then it does get a bit sticky because Burns has had chances for 6-1, for 6-2. But if it goes 5-3, then Ricky Walden seriously starts to fancy his chances.
15. 22. 23. 40. 41.
Very fluent around the table is Ricky. As you mentioned earlier, Dave, that little bounce in his step as he goes round. He's very busy around the table.
38.
And he certainly needs to get busy for the remainder of this game. 5-3 has a completely different complexity to it. And
39.
like I said, the pressure just starts to build on Ian. He gets a chance and small bit of doubt starts creeping in. Difficult to get over the winning line at times, and Ricky will know that. He'll be clicking on to these little mistakes that Ian's made.
Also, there's a general feeling that in himself, I can't play as badly as I did early on. It can only get better for me. Made a concerted effort here to really go on the attack, get everything open, try and kill the frame off. This is not guaranteed, this next red, from what we've seen tonight. Still pressure on this. Well, he's potted it, but as you can see, he's left himself quite a nasty shot on the black. Cut back. Things not getting any easier this evening. Qualifiers often seem to end up like this. It's a pretty good recovery, really.
52.
Giving himself every chance to continue. This is his highest break of the evening.
Yeah, just left him
52.
himself a little bit further away than he would have liked to have been from that red. Made it missable. So 31 points adrift. Big shot, red to middle. Has to fully commit to this. Good pot.
One.
Nicely on the blue. Wow, that's a massive, massive miss from Ian.
Yeah, very worrying signs now for him. It seems the anxiety is transferred from Walden to Burns, and Walden will be delighted to see that miss, will be delighted to get the chance to put the frame away. He needs this black, and it looks like it's 5-3. And you can definitely now see the full-scale comeback materialising, even though he's not at his best. What he needs, of course, in any comeback, what you need is for you to improve, which he has done on the earlier performance, and the opponent, Ian Burns in this case, to start to make mistakes. And that's what's happening.
9.
And that's why the score's narrowing. And it might yet narrow even more.
Yeah, it was a bad
14.
one, and it's the sort of shot that can stick in a player's mind as well. I think he needs to just try and compose himself, possibly leave the arena for a brief moment after this frame, or at least try and have a little word with himself in his seat, try and get himself geared up, refocus for the next frame. What's happened here is gone. It's 5-3. It's game on again.
26.
It's weird though, isn't it? Had it been 3 each and he went 5-3 up, he'd be really confident. But of course it was 5-1 and now it's 5-3, and that's why the pressure's on. As Ricky Walden suddenly starts knocking everything in.
32.
He may be surprised himself that he's still hanging on, but the truth is he can win this match now. So Ricky Walden pulls a second frame back, and Ian Burns' lead is cut to just 5-3 And this match well and truly in the balance.
There's Kevin's table.
Yeah, it's getting a bit nervy, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see if, and it's a big if at the moment, but if Ian Burns gets another reasonably easy chance, what can he make from it? Still only a frame from victory. That's the thing, as I say, it's not the scoreline, it's how the scores have developed over the course of the evening. So hopefully everyone is as intrigued as we are as to how this is going to pan out. If you want to let us know where you're watching from, we'd be delighted to know. I'm at Dave Hendon. Stephen is at Stephen Hallworth. And World Snooker Tour at WeAreWST. I've had quite a few messages from North America. It's good to know the game is being followed closely there. And we know from the World Snooker various social media channels that Thailand and Pakistan, big audiences there in particular, all sorts of places. Hopefully enjoying our coverage on YouTube and Facebook. Of course, Judgment Day will be on those platforms. It will also be on Discovery Plus. You can take your pick tomorrow and Thursday as we follow the thrills and spills. Jimmy White, Dominic Dale, the standout match in the afternoon, but there's a lot of other players as well that are, of course, hoping to get through. Do you have any predictions, Stephen, for the Jimmy White-Dominic Dale match? It's not easy, is it? Because a lot of focus on Jimmy, but Dominic Dale as well. You know, he's been around a long time. He's nearer the end of his career than the start. He wants to get to York.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big game for both players, you know. They are, like you say, both coming towards the end of their careers, if you like, and possibly the big moments like this may come few and far between for them both now, so I just hope they both turn up and play well and have a good go at it and put on a good show. The Judgment Day concept is always a really enthralling one. It's fantastic coverage, and Rob Walker loves to get the interest and excitement around it. So it'd be fantastic. Not a shot to be missed.
Meanwhile, not a good break-off, was that, from Ian Burns. The last thing he needed was to just hand this opening to Walden immediately.
You look at the pendulum swing of the psychology of this match. Look, for all the world, Ian was going to run away a comfortable winner, and a couple of misses. The momentum started to swing, and Ricky's now looking the better of the two players, that's for sure. Although that wasn't his best. And he's going to have left it.
Well, really didn't threaten the pocket, did it? But how is Ian Burns feeling? The thing is, Walden is still making errors. That's the thing. He's not rattled these frames off in one visit at all. And that's added really to the tension. Chances on both sides. Oh dear. Had a go at dropping, but did not.
One.
And that's not great. He's going to do well to get the pack of reds open here.
Six. Ricky Walden, 6.
There's just a little acknowledgement there from Ricky on that shot. Ali Carter seems to have turned a corner against Peter Lyons. He's 5-3 up from 3-1 down. So the captain perhaps on course for a place in the final round. Where, of course, you know, I mean, he's dangerous at any stage of a tournament. But if he got through to York, he's another player that top 16 do not want to play against. Is it going to get there? Just got there. Yeah, if Carter wins, he'll play Liam Highfield. That's a really good game, actually, on Thursday. Ding will play Robert Milkins, Joe Perry, Graham Dott, Dave Gilbert, Mark King. All sorts of terrific contests in prospect.
Ian just dictating the safety exchanges here for the time being. He's got the upper hand and putting Ricky under a little bit of pressure, not really able to play a telling safety shot. So just finding refuge in the back of the pack. And again, judging the pace to perfection.
Oh, and a miss.
I have a theory that the later a match goes into the night, the more weird things start to happen. And we're already at 10 to 11 p.m. local time. And there could be a good hour in this yet. And all sorts of things can still happen. Jimmy White, who's up tomorrow, calls it Shredsville, where players' nerves are shot and you see all sorts of mistakes you wouldn't see otherwise. One happy chappy watching, Stephen, is your good friend Jamie Clark. He says, I'm enjoying the coverage, watching and prepping with a tea for tomorrow. So he's enjoying himself tonight.
Yeah, he's had the day off today, Jamie. He's been here, there and everywhere. We've not quite managed to catch up for a bite to eat this afternoon. Stopping in Chesterfield, just preparing for his match. So wish you all the best, Jamie, for tomorrow.
An all-Welsh affair. He plays Dwayne Jones at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. Dwayne's played well this week as well. A little bit of a local derby, if you like.
Matthew Stevens, another Welshman in action in the evening session against young Wu Yiza from China. Dominic Dale represents Wales, although some of the Welsh players have never been too happy about that, because he hails from Coventry originally. Ryan Watterson on Twitter asked about memorable qualifying matches. I remember one years ago in the World Championship featuring Nick Walker and Rod Lawler, best of 19, and this was to qualify for the Crucible. After the first session, Nick Walker led 9-0. You can imagine the people ringing him up for tickets, and when you're on at the Crucible, who you're playing, can't wait to get there. 9-0, needed one more. Next interval, 9-4 and 9-5. It got to 9-8. You can imagine the tension. He won 10-8, so he didn't lose, but my word, that got sticky. And it's Rod as well, who of course is relentless.
Yeah, you're in bits if you bought tickets for his next match. That's a great shot Ricky's played there. Stunned through the pack of reds and he's plumb on the pink to middle.
Just ask a question here, what will the Judgment Day coverage will be like? Will it be switching between tables like at the World Championship? Yes, it will, but you can watch dedicated tables on Discovery Plus if you want to watch one match in its entirety, or indeed set up as many screens as you like. But on the Judgment Day we want to give a flavour of all the matches, although we will be focusing hard on Jimmy White, Dominic Dale in the afternoon, because I know there's a lot of interest in that, certainly judging by the reaction last night when Jimmy White beat Steve Maguire. As for tonight, this is nowhere near over yet, is it? Ricky Walden on the comeback trail.
$15.
Yeah, and he's starting to crunch him in now. You can clearly see his confidence is growing with every shot. I think at the moment you have to put Ricky favourite. As daft as that sounds, he's still 2 frames behind, but he's certainly looking the more confident of the two at the moment.
Yeah, I think if you took the score strap off, you would think he was in front. That's the strange psychology of the sport. Ian Burns has missed opportunities to close the match out. He's feeling anxious. Walden has got a bit of momentum behind him.
$28. $29.
Daniela is watching in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hope you're enjoying it. Of course, we had Victor Sarkis. He was the first of Jimmy White's victims, actually. But good to see him on the tour.
I'm just reading that tweet from Jamie saying he's... Oh, the pink's gone.
Ricky Walden, 29.
He was up. Felt it just dropped to that near jaw. So, is this the reprieve that Ian was looking for? Yeah, I was just about to say that tweet from Jamie saying he's not prepping for his game tomorrow with a tea. I can guarantee you that he'll not be sat drinking a cup of tea if I know Jamie. So straight away, choosing to get on the black. Yeah, good shot. Black respots on its own spot, red to the same pocket. Maybe a little cannon on the red to just above it or just stun up past it. Yeah, nicely played. So this is a good little chance now for Ian.
$16.
One last push required. Oh no.
Inbound 16.
Well, Just sums up the way the match has turned around, I guess. Just missing that red at short range out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's looking completely baffled by that one. Can only assume he's just took his eye off the pot there, because he was right behind that red. Yeah, just shaking his head. Bit awkward really, the red's not hanging over that corner pocket, and Ricky can only really put the cue ball where he's looking at up that area, which the red will still be potable, so just playing the cue ball onto the cushion here, using the 3 reds to cover the red over the pocket.
Well, it's got very edgy, as I say, this time of night. If the match is still going at 11 o'clock, it's probably going to be edgy, isn't it? Because we started at 7, so it's no great shock, really. And there's a chance it'll still be going an hour from now, at midnight. Running into Judgment Day, maybe, the way things are going. Michelle is in Ottawa, Canada, watching this. So, as I say, in North America, there seems to be a strong community taking the opportunity to watch on YouTube and Facebook. I know it's not always easy, because people tell me in some of these places to actually follow the snooker. Sometimes some of the services don't quite work as they should. But that's why it's great that you're able to enjoy it free on Facebook and YouTube. And the same will apply for Judgment Day. And hopefully, going forward, in more qualifiers.
Yeah, seems to be a lot of people from Canada tuning in. Come on guys, let's have a ranking event out there. We want to see the world. Looks to be a beautiful place, Canada. I'm glad you're all enjoying the coverage.
Yeah, Daniel Martinez, I'm not sure where he's from, but he says, I'm watching live snooker for the first time. I'm thankful I found your channel. So I think he is, I think he's in the US. So again, another example of the fact that this service is allowing snooker fans to follow not only the snooker, but the tension here. This is what you get in these qualifying matches. Those who haven't watched them before, it means so much just to make it into the final stages. We see it all the time at the World Championship, of course, just getting to the Crucible, which is about 5 minutes walk from where we are now, is everything.
yeah, there's a lot on the line, that's for sure, and we've just reached a bit of a stalemate. Neither player managing to find a way to get out of this little situation with this red over the corner pocket causing problems. Neither player clearly wants to play into another area of the table other than right there. So Walden just taking some time over this one. Wow, that's a great shot. Great pot from Ian. Was a big pocket with the pink being there. Decided to take the risk. He's a bit unfortunate really, he's not landed nicely on a colour, but he takes the initiative here.
In bonds one.
Yes, it's given him control of the table. Trailing by 22 points. Desperate for some sort of clear-cut chance. Another one. He's had a few already.
Yeah.
Now Leo Scullion, he's in the right place for him, but the wrong place for us to see what's happening. He's hit it because no foul's been called. Good pot.
One.
Again, may not lead to too much, but he's got a little bit of control back. It's a question of how brave he wants to be here, I guess.
Yellow ball.
Well, he was brave. He didn't get the yellow, but at least he went for it, I guess. He's still thinking positively. Got to be said, he didn't get too close to the pot.
No, you're right. He's just butchered that one. To be fair, he a lot of movement on the shot, delivered the cue far too quickly. He's been fortunate in a way that the cue ball didn't go anywhere near where he intended to. Needs to catch this one right as well. Yeah, that's all right.
We had our North American viewers, Simon Hartnell, a little bit closer to home, watching in Cheltenham. And of course, Simon, you may well be aware and happy to hear that the World Grand Prix is going back to Cheltenham in January. So it's right after the Masters. You can check out, of course, ticket details on the World Snooker Tour website. But that's good for people living in that part of Britain. It's actually in Cheltenham Racecourse. There's a little, it's called the Centaur Arena. So it's right in the heart of the racecourse. Just imagine Phil Yates's puns that week, Stephen.
Oh, I dread to think. I dread to think. Spent the last 2 days with him and he's just relentless.
Ali Carter's won 6-3 against Peter Lyons. He was 3-1 down, so we've got a twice world finalist, 4 times ranking event winner Ali Carter in to Judgment Day to play Liam Highfield. That could be a cracker, actually, on Thursday. Liam Highfield and Matt Selt already winners in this session.
It's thin, this red. It's a left corner, but it is potable. And Ian will definitely be having a go at it. Cue ball will be travelling back towards the balk area. It'd do well to not finish on blue or green. Again, didn't quite strike that one as nicely as he would have liked. So a chance for Ricky, already 21 points to the good in this frame. Oh, he's missed that one though.
Needs a bit of cover. But frankly, who knows what's going to happen next in this match. It's got very, very tense. Sort of match we heard from Jamie Clark there. Sort of match I'm sure snooker players love watching. It's a bit different when you're involved in them. Now then, can he get through to this? Not quite to pot it, no. So just the containing shot. It's all right if you tucked him in bed with a cup of tea, maybe in inverted commas, but out in the middle, it's going to be excruciating. Ian Burns may feel he should have won by now. Ricky Walden is sensing a way back in to this match, feels he may have got his man.
Yeah, not ideal this for Ricky. He's going to have to catch something thin. Doesn't want to send anything towards that right corner pocket. Unless he plays it with a bit of pace. Trying to find the coverage in behind those colours, but I think he's found the gap instead. And he's left one hanging.
One.
Referee just about hanging on as well. Get into everyone. Ian Burns, he's in, but what next?
Green ball.
Taking on the green by the looks of it. Big shot again. A bit like the yellow earlier, it was the positive shot to play, sure. He didn't really, again, threaten too much to pot it, but it's finished actually good for him. Pretty much snookered Ricky Walden. And again, he's got cover. Look at the colours, just nowhere near the spot. Blue's near its spot, I suppose you could say that, but that's about all you can say. That just represents the sort of frame it's been.
Yeah, proper league match snooker. Looks like your local frame down the club, you see. A lot of pressure out there and a few mistakes creeping in. Balls run awkward.
Well, in the end, he's played a pretty good shot here. Very good shot, actually. And, well, the pressure's on both of them, clearly. Ian Burns to try and get the match won. Ricky Walden to try and turn the screw, pull one back. Just on the other scores, Jack Jones 4-3 up on Mark Joyce. That's the match that's been brought back on from earlier on. Andrus Petrov, what a win for him. The Estonian first season professional has beaten Gary Wilson, who was runner-up in last season's British Open. That's a huge result for Andrus Petrov. He's into Judgment Day with a chance to qualify for York. So that's really the standout result today, isn't it? New professional against a seasoned pro. Zhao Guidong 5-3 up on Chow Yu-peng. Anthony Hamilton 4-2 up on Marco Fu. Sam Craigie 5-4 up on Joe O'Connor.
Yeah, that's a brilliant result for Petrov. He's from Estonia, a new territory for snooker for having a professional on the tour, so fantastic for him and for all his family, friends and bands back home.
Cue ball holds on. Wow.
Yeah, and that's a good shot now from Ian. He's put Ricky in a lot of trouble here. Very awkward. Long path of balls down the right side of the table. Pink cutting off the right side to anything, green to the left. So the swerve shot not quite working out for Ricky. This red will clip into the middle bag. Just came round to have a look at the sort of idea of where the cue ball's going to go. Well, he couldn't clip it in. I thought he maybe could, so just playing the granite safety shot again.
Well, in theory, this red's possible, but you know, you wouldn't make any predictions right now. But it was potable, and he's knocked it in. Terrific shot from Ian Burns. This is the problem, isn't it? When you know, when you've had all the scrapping around, balls are in awkward positions. Let's see though if he can start to get back into the frame.
Yeah, it was a good pot considering what's gone.
Yeah. 6.
It's a pretty decent chance as well.
37 minutes. Now, I felt it was probably at least 20 minutes longer than that. but anyway, it may yet be, of course, but this could be a key moment.
Yeah, it does feel like it's gone on for a while, this one, with all the tip-tap safety exchanges. But Ian now in and try to come across for the black, but would have been nice to get it on its own spot, make the red easier for position again. So he's going to have to pop the green and force a little angle off the side cushion. Doesn't want to be straight on the red.
11.
Well, he's found no man's land really. He's in between a few options. Just looking at whether or not dropping the yellow in the middle dead weight and leaving the long yellow is a possibility for him. Either way, he's only going to need up to the pink, so pink to black isn't an issue for him. Which helps his cause, with the pink being relatively close to the side cushion. That was a nice little pot from Ian, very thin. So, big shot. One good pot here.
No, it's been that
Inbound
from that sort of distance where he's been missing, hasn't it? And it's another one that stays out. It felt kind of like the money shot in a way. Just to say quickly, Zhao Guidong's beaten Chow Yupeng 6-3, so another player through to Judgment Day there. So by my reckoning, there's still 4 matches on, including this one. Where's the white?
4. Inbound 4.
Yeah, just a little bit clumsy, I guess, giving away the 4 points. This time it's going to just hang on, isn't it? To put Ricky Walden in a spot of bother.
Yeah, that's not bad. He's going to have to raise the butt of the queue. He wants to get in behind the yellow here. Cushion first, send it up the table. Oh, that's a bad one. He's been unlucky there.
Inbound 4.
You could never foresee that happening, and the yellow going into the balk area.
Well, he sits down concerned, understandably. This is why this is a good chance now, you've got to say, to get this one.
2.
It's been a very nervy last hour, really, for Ian Burns. He made all the running at 5-1. He had chances in the next couple. This is surely the best yet.
5.
Yeah, and those penalty points Ricky conceded means that Ian doesn't need that pink. 6 points ahead. Brown and blue will make him 15 points. So this is the shot. Oh, he's overrun it, has he?
Thank you.
Oh, would you
9.
believe it? Anywhere but there.
In a strange way, you would believe it, wouldn't you? Bearing in mind what we've been watching. Another twist, just when he needed to land on it.
This is where this game writes you off as a player. He's a ball away from being perfect and getting this game done and dusted, and now he's faced with this horrible shot into the corner pocket from so close to the blue. It's incredibly difficult to judge the potting line of this. So he's definitely going to be going for it. He's got to pick his point and fully commit.
If it goes in, Ricky Walden needs a snooker. And he's got it. Well, what a shot to potentially win the match. One snooker needed. And that blue kind of summed up how the evening developed for Ian Burns. It became a struggle, but None of that will matter if he does now get over the line, because he'll be through to Judgment Day. And in goes the pink, and Ian Burns is very relieved and very delighted to have landed a major scalp in the shape of Ricky Walden. The world number 82, Ian Burns, is through to the final qualifying round of this Cazoo UK Championship. What a battle, and he's delighted that there's no more battle to come for him tonight. So Ian Burns joins the players through to the final round. A brief reaction from you, Steve. Well, 2 great pots in the end.
Yeah, incredible, really, considering everything that had gone on. He was massively fighting with his emotions there, Ian, but every credit. He's knocked in a fantastic blue there. Pink to follow, and you could see the emotion slightly at the end. Bows his head. He knew that that was a big match, and yeah, fair play. Ricky wasn't at the races today, but he fought well. Tried to make a game of it in the end, and he did put Ian under a lot of pressure there, but yeah, every credit to Ian. He's in the draw for tomorrow, and looking forward to Judgment Day.
Well, my thanks to Stephen Hallworth, to Phil Yates, and we will be back, or I'll be back with Ken Doherty and Rob Walker tomorrow for the first of the Judgment Days. 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock UK time. We'll be going around all 4 tables as we follow the drama of the final qualifying round. So the first Judgment Days tomorrow, and at the end of it we'll have the first 8 qualifiers for this UK Championship. A lot of drama ahead. I hope we'll have your company, but for now, from us all here in Sheffield, it is good night.
Golden Dagen. Aware and neg heavier through that. Heavier through that. The petty Ulfric.
Great sporting events make great stories. On Discovery Plus, watch Lycra Warriors battle.
It has been a blockbuster.
Hot shots fire.
The legend.
Sharpshooters strike.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is in 7th heaven.
And thrill seekers zoom. There's live sport for everyone on Discovery Plus.